What up, snitches? I'm the Animaniac, and today I'm taking a look at a cartoon from the New Zealand streaming service, Hey Hey. Oh look, it's made by our old friends at MuckBuddy, and it's called Jandal, a comedy about two best friends working at the titular shop, a place that sells jandals. For those who are watching, a jandal looks like this. In any other place, you'd call this a flip-flop. Now, does this premise sound familiar to you? Sounds exactly like the premise for regular show, but in an East Coast New Zealand skin. A friend of mine who works at the studio asked me to go easy on them, but... Okay, my problems with MuckPutty don't lie with the artists who work on it, as the show looks fairly nice. They've gone back to characters having thick black outlines around them, as well as the designs reminding me of crumbs, if they knew how to smile. And the backgrounds are... yeah. But my persisting problems with MuckPutty are in the writing and directing. Because the actors and teams of animators and artists put a lot of trust in their directors, and since these guys write and direct every show they create, it's safe to say that any part of the show turning out wrong is on them. And after spending a few days mulling over this show, I've come to the conclusion that this may be the schnookums and meat of the 2010s. That's right, a sanitized knockoff of a much more popular title that came out after its cancellation. Ren and Stimpy was cancelled in 1996, a year before Schnookums and Meat came out on the Disney Channel. Regular show ended in 2017, 2 years before this came out on Hey Hey.
I'm not convinced.
Well, Mr. Slab, take a seat because despite this being a 6-minute by 10 episode season, there's a lot to unpack. Jandal wastes no time in giving you regular show comparisons. In addition to our main characters working in a minimum wage job, they also live above their place of work. As in the other show, Mordecai and Rigby lived in a house inside the park grounds. In their off time, they both play retro video games. Puku and Kev play on what I assume to be a Sega Saturn with an NES controller instead of the console's standard 6-button controllers, as Mordecai and Rigby play on what looks like a Sega Master System. Kev is Mordecai trying to project sway levels of enthusiasm, and Puku is Rigby if he went through a sex change. It's 2019, I'm sure kids can handle hearing stuff like that. Plus, he once changed his name to Trash Boat because of a VH1 style documentary. I think that's a possibility. I would say more about the other characters, but there isn't much to say about them, except for Gav, who runs the gambit between kinda funny and so annoying that I want to get in my car and run him over. Aside from that, the first episode is a hint to the quality of the show you are getting. Borrowing a story that another show, either one of their own or a more popular one I assume the creators like, they just took out a few necessary story beats that make it entertaining to watch. The first episode could have played a similar way to Chore and Peace from the Loud House, where Lincoln goes on strike from taking out the rubbish because his idea to allow job trading has been shot down. The sisters go on strike as well until Lincoln ends his. My only problem with that episode was I kept asking myself, why weren't the parents getting involved? But I understood the idea behind it. We watch to see who will break as things get more intense. Or they had ideas that honestly were too big to do properly for the show's format. Like with the episode Idle Lies. Because after watching it, I realized that story could have benefited from a longer running time. But even if you know where the story is going to go, maybe there will be some good jokes. Let's begin with what slapstick they attempt to do. Lately, animation styles that are popular these days don't lend themselves well enough to proper slapstick. Gone are the days where people animated the impact of slapstick like this. You don't see stuff like that anymore, do you? Feel free to correct me on this in the comments below. Now, since the studio is working with an art style that doesn't really suit slapstick well enough to show it through animation, how the gags are timed can be a good substitute for it. In the Loud House episode, April Fool's Rules, there's a scene where Lincoln tries to turn off several projectors of him kissing a balloon pretending it's a girl. Here's what happens. Notice how fast he hit the ceiling as soon as he came down. The show's art style may be flat, but we still feel his pain. There was a moment in the episode Throne of Games that plays out a similar way. Kev hits the ceiling when he bounces off one of the couch springs. We hear a slap sound effect, and a little while after he comes down, he smashes the couch, coming up without a scratch on him. I would have liked to have seen him with a bruise on his fat head. Going back to the slap I heard, I also would have liked to hear harsher sound effects for the off-screen violence they do. An example of this done better is also from the aforementioned Loud House episode. There's a shot of the house as Lincoln puts himself through all the traps his sister laid out in there. Still don't know what I'm talking about? Here's the clip. Even if you're not seeing it, you feel the pain he puts himself through. And that's for a show where the demographic is 2 to 11. Hey Hayes is 6 to 9. However, there is another way for slapstick to get a laugh with sound effects. Make the audience think who they are watching is going to be put through something that is really painful. But the sound effects are unexpectedly goofy. Like in the Mickey Mouse short, The Fancy Gentleman, where Donald and Goofy have abducted Mickey, who thanks to Minnie had become a gentleman and proceeded to dump her. They lock him in a room where Donald and Goofy beat him up. I know it sounds brutal, but listen to this.
How dare you unhand me!
You never expect that because Goofy said beforehand,
"Now remember, no matter what you hear, do not open this door."
But in Throne of Games, Kev hitting the ceiling is neither painful nor silly enough to get a laugh. Muck Putty's comedy throughout their body of work is very hit or miss. Their jokes aren't the most clever. For this decade, that award goes to Gumball. In fact, what makes them funny is the actor's delivery. The line that gave them their first taste at worldwide exposure was from their 48-hour film short, Camp Fear. Can you guys remember what it is? On paper, this doesn't make sense in the context of the scene, but the delivery makes it memorable. But then you have moments like Fridge being hopped up on energy drinks, yet it...
Yeah, I know, but I can change sugar into ideas, into imagination, into dreams. Dreams of a new tomorrow, dreams in action, dreams of the future. Like children of the future, dreams of flying, dreams of going to school and finding out you've forgotten to wear pants.
Doesn't sound quite right. Shouldn't the clip be more like, yeah, I know, but I can change sugar into ideas, into imagination, into dreams. Dreams of a new tomorrow, dreams of action, dreams of the future. Like children of the future. Dreams of flying, dreams of going to school and finding out you've forgotten to wear pants. Muck Putty are good at making tired lines sound funny. But when actors don't have the right delivery, I sit there wondering, why is this here? Can you get on with the story, please? In my experience with the studio, you get 3 kinds of Muck Putty jokes. Ones where the pieces are there, but because of spotty execution, it doesn't land. Ones where they deliberately leave a joke incomplete, thinking the audience will finish it for them.
What has science ever done? Did science put us on the moon?
Yes.
Did science split the atom?
Yes.
Did science cure loneliness?
Yes. It's called the internet. Here's a PC. Go nuts and never talk to me again.
Twigs, eh? The funny thing about branches is something about sticking around. They stick around.
Fridge, stop trying to branch out. Last time I checked, you're supposed to entertain the audience, not make them do the work several months after you've done your part. On the other hand, you have those moments where Muck Putty hits their mark, like when Tane's parents come into the bathroom to see Fridge in the middle of hopping out the window. He stares at them and says,
I was just peeping through the window. Alright then.
Spot on. With Jandal Burn, I just got the first 2 and the results are pain every 6 minutes. What pains me even more about this show is the episodes have moments that can be funny with a few tweaks. For instance, in the episode Prank Day, Kev gets startled by Puku for the 3rd time and goes on an angry rant about how stupid her pranks are. He repeats the words sophistication and skill over and over. This moment could work if they kept the repetition of those words up to the maddening degree of the spam speech from Monty Python's Flying Circus, or for the sake of the episode's length, they could have come up with malapropisms of the 2 words. I spent an afternoon writing malapropisms of the words sophistication and skill. Slothus Station and Skrill, Slothus Cakem and Sill, Soppy Fist Page and Skrillex. I could go on, but you get the point. These would show her shenanigans make him so angry he can't form his words properly and would have embarrassed himself, giving him the drive to prank Puku back. Little tweaks like that can make a scene funnier as well as elevate the episode. Sadly, not only do I not feel anything for them, but the only constant bit of laughter I got was from Ryan beatboxing over the end credits. Going back to earlier in the Prank Day episode, the times Puku scared Kev, the Loud House did that better too. Under its visually pleasing skin, Jandalburn is, to put it politely, a disappointment. Story beats that would make the episodes passable are absent, the characters aren't memorable enough to leave an impact after one sitting, and the humor misses more than it lands. It was Jandalburn's first time in the field, and it was lame. Perhaps I'll have a better time with Quimbo's quest, but if Muck Putty expects to make it in the international market, they're going to have to step up their game. Guys, what are your thoughts on Jandalburn? Let me know in the comments. If you guys want to stay updated on future videos and see some cool artwork, be sure to follow me on Twitter, Facebook, Tumblr, and DeviantArt. The links are in the description. And if you want to be the first to know when a new video will be up, ring that bell after you subscribe. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.